Hello, and welcome to episode 138 of Checkpoint Chat. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. As always, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the man with the Spider-Man shirt, Matty Figueroa, the fro, yes.
Can I tell you, so we have a listener, Malesh, who I'm sure you guys hear questions from him every now and then. He often comments on our YouTube channel now saying,
what a champ.
Matthew's t-shirt game's real strong. How long can you keep it up for? Like, I'm fast running out of gaming-related shirts.
Soon you're going to be doubling up, and it's going to be like,
I don't know.
But you wore this shirt
It's
on
fine.
April 21st. It's March, never mind.
We're going into winter, though, so hoodies are going to start coming out, and I'm going to have to start switching between hoodies.
Oh, but that's the thing. Like, in winter, you have a lot of t-shirts, but you only have like a handful of hoodies.
Exactly. You're going to see me cycle through the same set very regularly.
I used to get so much shit from friends at varsity because I used to wear, those like the typical Cape Town K-Way rubbish bag like jackets, the poofy ones.
Yes.
So I used to wear that a lot to varsity because that thing's
keep
fucking
you
warm.
warm.
It's
Yeah.
great. And it's light, so I don't feel like all like constricted and weighed down. And then I just kept getting shit, from friends, like giving me shit like, do you own any other jackets? And I'm just like...
She'll be like, actually, I own 7 of these and I wear a different one every day.
Exactly.
So
they're all different. They're all very slightly different shades of black.
Business.
Yeah.
Jessica. Okay. Brandon. Stop. Just keep your shit together. Well,
but
speaking...
that is winter for me. It's the same jacket over and over with like different shirts that you never see underneath.
Yeah, Malesh, I could be wearing gaming shirts under my hoodie, or I could be naked under the hoodie. You don't know that.
Well, isn't everyone just naked underneath their clothes?
You heard that?
Scandalous.
You heard that revelation here first.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely going
confirmed.
into them chilly, the chilly season. I don't know where
it
I was
is
going with that
getting
sentence.
real chilly.
Got up this morning to run. I was like, holy shit, it's cold.
I respect you for
like
still having that, because that's always the toughest thing in winter.
Getting up, yeah.
Getting up in the morning.
It's always the thing of getting up, but I think when you've done the first K or two, when I've done the first K or two, I'm
sure.
absolutely fine.
But it's that moment,
that process
from
man.
like between your bed and your front door.
Yeah, and the fact that it gets lighter a lot later, so you wake up, it's dark. You're like, oh, I wanna, I just want to sleep. Like, come on.
Last year, I got into a really good routine of running during lunchtime, which
I
was
might
able
do that
to.
this year.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the time to do that this year, but like, it was great because like midday, it's still cold.
Yeah,
like, it is still a mission to go outside and run, but at least you've got the sun, so it's not too bad.
I did it like once or twice towards the end of winter last year. But it's
actually a great time. Yeah,
I'm keen to do it more this year.
It is like a shock to your body because like you've got the sun on you and you're like, oh, it's so warm. And then you take one big deep breath in when you start like getting that cardio up, and the air is so cold it like shocks your lungs. It's like just
that's a bit nippy out here.
I will never, ever, ever forget the one park run we did.
Yeah.
Where when we were doing the runs into the park. So we were starting about 5Ks out. And I remember that was when my dad was doing park runs with me as well. And he used to just drop me off, so we could run in.
He used to kick you out to be like, bye, bitch.
And like getting out that car, my hands were in so much pain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Like,
actual pain.
And it didn't like fix itself after 5Ks. Like when we got to the park, I was still like, I'm in so much pain because of how cold it is.
Yeah, you need running gloves for that.
Jesus,
my brother and sister-in-law actually gave, was it last year sometime? They gave me, so I had this thick pair of gloves that I had bought like a while ago, and they obviously kept my hands warm, but they're not really running gloves, But my brother and them gave me a thin pair of actual running gloves that still lets you, it's got that fabric that you can still use your phone even while wearing
those
the
are
gloves.
cool. Yeah,
yeah, and they're like very thin, but they just enough to keep your hands warm while you're running, and it's really, really great.
It's almost like that gym t-shirt, like material or whatever. Yeah,
science.
Those are really cool. Science, yeah.
This ain't just cotton. This is science.
I like that they've made like at least those ones I've seen, like all of your fingers can work on your phone. Because I remember early versions of those gloves, you'd have like a little, almost like a silicone piece on like your index and your thumb, so you could only use your phone with those.
But I use my phone with the pinky. Okay,
yeah,
I feel excluded here. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. I lift my pinky when I drink my tea, and I only scroll through Twitter with my pinky, like a fancy person.
My God, that's so fancy. Can't even.
That's how you avoid trolls on Twitter. You just scroll with your pinky finger.
You just carry on with your life.
Yeah, and then when you see something you don't like, you're like, away. Not in my life today. No.
You swipe away with your middle finger. Be gone. Yeah. Jessica, what are you even doing on my Twitter feed?
That's what I do when I'm liking your tweets. It's always my middle finger.
The middle finger. Oh, that's such a passive aggressive, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but winter's here, but it's fine because you know it's great to do in winter. You just play some sweet games.
And eat soup.
And do you eat soup or do you drink soup?
Video games, let's talk about them. I don't want to go down that route.
You can't even tell me a straight answer.
Soup is just a vessel for bread. I just eat lots of bread.
That's not my favorite thing. Yeah, it's like it's a means to eat lots of bread.
Exactly. Speaking of bread, I ate so much pizza last night. It was so good.
Where'd you get pizza from?
So there's this place nearby me called Nonna Mia.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, there's a couple. I didn't realize there was one in like Rosebank and one in, I think there's one in Parkview.
If I'm not mistaken, they are often on Uber Eats.
Yes.
And I've seen them I think they sometimes have 2-for-1 specials. So keep an eye on that. Can I give you before you talk about your pizza, the best life hack that Lenska figured out. Okay. Uber Eats. What's the worst thing about Uber Eats? You order, you have to wait. Sometimes
and
your food
inflated prices.
Sometimes your food's cold, whatever. However, it does at least let you collect if you really want. So you might think, but why would I order through Uber Eats when I can just call the place directly if I'm collecting? Except through Uber Eats, you can sometimes get those 2-for-1 specials or those deals. So you order through Uber Eats and you can collect,
but you get that voucher.
You get that sweet voucher, that 2-for-1. So if you want Nonna Mia's 2-for-1 or 50 Rand off, whatever, just order through Uber Eats. You can go.
That is a good life hack.
Yeah,
because I'm always like, if I'm collecting, I'm just going to phone because they inflate their prices. So, but you're right. I didn't think about the vouchers being used on collections as well. So
yeah,
that is a good point.
So what are you going to say about their pizza?
Nonna Mia. It's one of those square pizzas or rectangles.
There's another place called Rossa that does square pizzas. Also real good.
Oh yeah, I know Rossa. It used to be the one in Bedford nearby where you stayed.
Yeah, there's it's still there. I think one in Bedford and there's one really in good. Greenstone.
So Nonna Mia is pretty good. I think very well priced. Like for what you get. Like I got so they only have 3 sizes and it goes from like 0 to 100 very quickly. So it's like small, and it's small. They say 6 slices, but let me tell you, that 6 slices is like Shani and I both got mediums, and she was like, a small would have been fine because it was big.
I'm gonna die.
So I got a medium. That was 8 slices. Then from medium, it goes to grande, which is 24 slices.
Yeah, okay. Rossa is very similar. It's like it's a party size.
It's a party size.
Yeah.
And I was so hungry yesterday. I was like, Shani, next time we should get a 24 just for the 2 of us. And she looked at us like I was a madman. It's like I would smash it.
100. Do you guys have the same? Like, do you enjoy the same toppings? Or,
yeah, in general we
do.
Then
I mean, you could do a 24-piece pizza and just have pizza for a week.
That's also true. I mean, but like even the 24, like a margarita 24 is like $180, which is like if you're feeding like 3 to 4 people, which is clearly what it's designed for.
Yeah,
like that's a fucking good price. And it's good pizza. So yeah, I was very happy yesterday. I ate Shani's leftovers. I ate my pizza. I felt like a real gutsy food baby.
In a universal twist, I also had pizza last night from Franco's. Shocker.
We can get Franco's on Uber Eats, but I'm always like, it's going to be so cold by the time it gets to us. It's not worth it.
Like, see, now you got to take advantage of that collect. If they ever have a voucher,
but then I'll just eat in my car before it gets cold. I just need to go to that restaurant again. It's so
you
good.
Must. It's so real good.
Also, I found out this week, not to continue talking bullshit, but whenever you've told me where you live, you always tell me it's Linden, correct?
No.
Wow, you've just lied to me your entire life.
I've literally never told you I live in Linden. I live in Parkview. Lenska works in London.
You see, because I've always told a mutual acquaintance of ours, our hairdresser, that I'm like, oh yeah, Matty lives in London. And then this week she's like,
no,
Matty's been lying to you. That's not London. Because I asked Lenska's mother where they stay and if
this
it was
is
in
hilarious.
London. And she was like, no, I've never lived in London ever. And I'm
no
like,
way. But
this motherfucker is just lying to me.
I've never told you that in my entire life. You must have been blackout drunk that one time.
I don't know why, but I've always assumed you were just in London and not Parkview.
No,
don't know why.
100% not.
But now everyone thinks I'm an idiot. So thank you,
mean...
Wow, rude. Let's check my chat. We're talking about video games.
Your hairdresser's like, I can't believe this poor guy thinks his friend lives in London. He's being misled. He's so young and innocent.
Let's check my chat. Talk about video games and
sometimes
incorrect street addresses.
Yeah.
Area codes.
Oh. So what do you want to talk about first?
I've had such a busy week that I haven't played much else aside from just more Loop Hero, which is really fun. My review's up on GameSpot. What a game. What a good game.
It's a good time.
It's a good, hard time. Holy shit, that game.
Oh, is it difficult?
Some of the bosses, holy crap. You get to them and you're just like, well, I've just spent forever on this loop and I am so ill-equipped for this boss. And it's like watching a Final Fantasy fight where you can't choose the moves, like just play out automatically. And you can see it's going poorly and there's nothing you can do. Like you just got to accept that's
your fate.
What it is. Yeah. So it's a great game. I think it's like $120 on Steam.
It's super cheap.
Yeah, it's well worth it.
After you spoke about it last week, I went and I looked. I was like, I should play this game with all the time I have, and I didn't buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cheap, but I was like, you know what? Money cannot buy time.
No, unfortunately not.
So
and
it
is a pretty long game. Like I played around 15 hours for my review, but I know I've seen people doing like triple that already.
Well, I mean, just on that, is there incentive to replay or there additional levels or anything? Like, would you?
Well, yeah, there's 5 bosses in total. I haven't beaten all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just absolutely no fucking way. It would take me forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of replayability in that sense. I'm not sure when you finish it how much, like, unless I'm missing something, like to me it would just reset everything you have.
And you start, I suppose you could try different tactics.
Yeah, you could try different tactics, but it's not like you're locked into a class from the get-go. You can change classes between runs and stuff like that. So there's no incentive to be like, I'm going to go through this whole game as a rogue, because like the bosses especially are designed around different classes. Like some will be preferential to higher attack speeds of a rogue, or another one will be, my favorite class right now is a necromancer because I get other people to fight for me, so that's fun. It's always a good time.
It's like ordering your minions around.
Exactly, and then the enemies don't attack me; they attack my minions. So that's I quite like the necromancer currently. But I know that, like I said, the game is designed around you switching classes. I don't think it's designed around. I guess you could play the whole game as one class, but I don't see it as that.
Not really viable, maybe.
No, not at all. So yeah, I've played more of that. I'll continue playing a run here and there every night because I just think it's a fun game. So yeah, but the thing that both of us, I think, played last night, you more than me, Monster Hunter Rise, which came out on Nintendo Switch yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I dabbled a little bit in Monster Hunter World, but nowhere near enough to kind of know. I wouldn't call myself a Monster Hunter like veteran.
Yeah,
not even close. So yeah, I played like the played the character creation and then
that is a game in itself. Let's be honest.
So. I messed around a lot in the tutorial area with different weapons. What did you get up to?
So, just some quick context. My only experience with the Monster Hunter is nothing. Like I have zero experience with the Monster Hunter, and
I'm applying for this job with zero experience.
It's for the simple reason that Monster Hunter as a franchise has been around for like more than a decades. I don't know. I don't know when the first one came out.
The first one was on PS2.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. But it's been one of those games where it's kind of weird because you know the franchise. I think everyone has heard of Monster Hunter. But it's one of those franchises that before World was very much a thing of like, well, do you have a DS or a 3DS? Do you like, only if you've really had that console and if you've actually bought the game, would you know about that franchise? It seems
or a PSP.
Or a PSP. Yeah, it seems very niche. Like, I know it's not a niche game, but it feels like its player base is a lot smaller than you'd expect.
It was primarily big in Japan.
Oh, okay. So maybe in Japan it's big, but in the West, not the biggest
I mean, the
game.
games came out in the West, but to me, it was really World that got sort of like how Persona 5 got
exactly
the West interested in Persona.
Yeah, so Monster Hunter World came out and it reviewed incredibly well and shit for like the years that followed. I know many people who loved the game, but what put me off about it is that thing of it's a long game. You can easily put 100+ hours into a Monster Hunter.
It's a Destiny. It's like a hobby game.
As much as I would love to play that game, I just can't see myself sitting at my desk doing that, which is why Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch is a perfect jumping in point, because it's a thing of like, I'll obviously sit and play on the big screen, but I can then undock and go climb into bed. I can play on the go. I can play wherever, and that will just help.
Monsters while you poop.
That is like just the fact that it's on Switch helps whittle away at that super long playtime, which is enticing to me. Like, I played Breath of the Wild on Switch and I did everything because I had the option of playing it anywhere. That's just my context. But I'm very excited to dive into Monster Hunter Rise. I played about, I'd say, like 3 to 4 hours yesterday. So same as you, going through the surprisingly detailed character creation system.
You spent so long on that character.
You spent so long on your character, only to find that you have to also customize your good doggo, only to find you have to customize your good cat, only to find that you also have a bird to customize.
Yep.
It's wild.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, there's plenty happening. But then the game, I suppose the premise is, 50 years ago, there was a calamity and, a whole lot of monsters, appeared and stormed the village, whatever. And it seems like it's going to happen again. And that's the setup, I guess. I haven't gone beyond that. And you being this new person, or just this person in this village who's like you've just become an official monster hunter, but you are known around as being the person who's like very proficient at different weapons and people like you.
You're hot shit, man.
You really are hot shit. Everyone you talk to is like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Everyone wants to be your friend.
Who are you, Jessica? Why are you even in this game? But it sets you off on this path, very, very simple premise. But my God, does it bog you down with a shit ton of reading and tutorial? Well, not actually tutorials. Let's be honest. It gives you like it holds your hand through, I suppose, like the setup, some very basic things, but every step of the way, it's like, here's a page or two of like what this means and what this means and what does that mean and this and that, and it doesn't actually force you into tutorial. Like, there's a bare bones basic, like, I suppose, like, this is how you hunt, this is that, but you have to like actively seek out additional tutorials. Like, you don't know how to mount a monster unless you go and find that tutorial. You don't get to play with each weapon unless you go seek out that area that lets you test out each weapon. So it's weird, because I think you pointed out, and people that I've seen online have pointed out, that Monster Hunter Rise is actually, the most accessible of the entire franchise, because it puts a lot of effort into explaining things, where I see it does, like, there's a lot of text and stuff, but it still feels like, holy shit, there's a lot to take in. Like, there really is a lot to take in.
It's one of those things in games that I'm not a fan of, where they explain to you how to play the game through text, but not through like action.
Yeah.
And I find that a very old school way of doing tutorials.
Yeah. I almost feel like, look, I think it is kind of like a very conscious choice of we know there will be veteran players. We don't want them to have to like sit through 3 hours of tutorials or like forced narrative. And I completely understand that. But it feels like a little bit more effort could have been done in just raw tutorials of like, because even the existing tutorials I have access to, it's like, okay, here's basic combat, here's how you mount a monster, and it's like 2 or 3 of them. But at no point does it say like, here's a tutorial for setting up traps, here's a tutorial for each weapon. Because even the testing area where you get to mesh around with each weapon, they don't tell you, like outside of combos, they don't say like, oh, hey, this weapon, you can actually do this and this and this with it. It's literally like, here are 3 combos.
And like, that's and initially you're like, oh, okay, so each weapon only has 3 combos. But then if you go read outside of the game, it's like, no,
every
weapon can do so much more than that. Yeah.
I mean, like I told you, I stuck with the starting weapon, which I think is the longsword they give to you right out the gate. And just so I didn't actively seek out different weapons. It was like, whatever, I'm just going to go do some hunts.
You didn't know the tutorial area existed?
I did not know the tutorial area existed. But that's my own issue. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a game issue, but that's debatable. But being forced to use that weapon, I learned just through using it like, oh, okay, I've got this combo, but if I use, like, they don't explain to you that, so you've got, I think it's, let me look at this. I always get the switch buttons confused. X and A are your attack buttons, right? The top one and the right one.
Depending on your weapon.
Depending on your weapon. But they don't tell you that the right shoulder button is used for like a special attack or to change form or whatever. So I figured out in using my longsword that if there's like a little bar that you fill up which lets you use the shoulder button to string up like other big attacks. Like, nowhere did it explain that to me. I just figured that out by myself. So it feels like it's still a bit of a steep learning curve.
I was also a bit confused at that because I didn't realize that little like sword bar
it
appears.
Fills up and it actually does something.
so like sometimes I was mashing on the special and I was doing like 2 or 3 hits, and then sometimes it was only doing 1, and I was like, is this a timing thing? What? Like, am I just like not getting it right? And I realized, it's depending on how much energy I have in that bar, actually.
At one point, I figured that out, and then I kept on like building up the meter and using it. And then I don't know what happened. I need to go read up on this, but it seems like I had some buff applied to me where my sword basically turned like semi-yellow. I was like, oh, okay, there's some depth here that I just don't know.
Okay.
Which, look, it's a thing of figuring it out or reading up on it, but it just feels like it could have still benefited from, let me go to the arena, here's a tutorial for each weapon. It just makes a lot of sense to me to introduce players that way. Because like what's not immediately obvious with Monster Hunter is that there aren't any classes per se, but the weapon you choose is essentially your class, like to a degree. So yeah, like it's quite important to know which weapon you want to play with.
I feel like this also isn't a problem like unique to Monster Hunter. I mean, we played. I don't know how much you played of Neo 2, but Neo 2 is the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
Like it just throws you into. There's a tutorial area that you force through, where you have all the weapons and you can choose between them, and there it's a bit more dire because you have to choose your starting weapon
immediately.
Yeah, and it's like you can try them all out, but without really knowing what lies ahead, you can't really make an informed decision on what's a good one to take. So I don't know. I've heard that a lot of the fun of Monster Hunter comes through experimentation with weapons, and that's what it is. It's like a pure combat game. Yeah,
it is. I mean, when that happened to me yesterday, is that like aha moments of like, oh, there's a bar here. It is a cool thing of like I retroactively figured out how to do that, but it's a thing of I don't know how many people are happy to stick that out. Like I just worry about newcomers who are like, oh, cool, there's this awesome new Switch game. Holy shit, what is going on in this? Like it's
especially with the Switch selling like it has. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are experiencing Monster Hunter for the first time. Because like you said, the series was big in Japan on PSP and then on 3DS. But like World was the first one that I even considered playing, and now Rise is the one that I'll actually play for quite a bit longer, I think.
Yeah.
That said, it is fun. Like
it is, 100%.
I messed around for like an hour, 2 hours just in the training area, just like messing around with new weapons and whatever. I've really liked the dual blades so far. I think they're very fun to use.
Yeah.
And like there are other weapons where I'm like, once I'm more comfortable with playing this game, then I can like see myself using them. Like the charge blade seems really fun to use. The insect glaive looks so fun, but like even just from the basic tutorial, I was like, wow, this looks like a complex weapon to use. It's like I need to mark an enemy, then I need to like build up like charges, then there's this bug flying around, then I can like boomerang myself into the fucking air and do stuff. It looks cool, but I have no idea.
You have no idea how to use it.
Yeah.
But look, so out the gates, the game seems very complex, which it is. Like there's a lot of depth there. But that being said, there's a reason I went to bed very late last night, because like I told you, I did a hunt. I was like, it's midnight. I'm getting up early tomorrow, but I'm just going to do one more hunt. And that's
it's already got its hooks in you.
That's where the danger of such a game lies. Of like, holy shit, like I'm having a lot of fun. Even like I've done 2 or 3 hunts, but even that, I'm really getting to the swing of, it's a thing of you find your big monster, your prey, you chip away at them, they run away. You go, you hunt them down, you get buffs along the way, you fight them again, they run away. Like I'm getting into that loop of understanding how the game works. Because even like the movements take some getting used to as well. Like it's not, I can't put my finger on it. It's almost like it's intentionally methodical, and you have to be very conscious with everything you do. Not so much like you can't just mash roll and like get an attack in and roll away. Like you have to be very aware of what you're doing, because if you misstep, like you will get punished.
No, it's extremely, it almost feels slow in that regard, but it's because it's like once you press, you're locked into that. Like, but I think, a very Souls-like thing almost.
I think like there's a reason you and I like the dual blades, because to me, I think that's the quickest weapon. It's probably it lets you be the most agile, like in my very brief experience. And that's coming off games like Bloodborne or Dark Souls, where like you want to be aggro in the enemy's face. Whereas the slower weapons, I'm almost reluctant to play them, because I'm like, oh my God, like this thing takes so long to charge up. But I am seeing that like monsters do have tiny gaps between their attacks. Like you just have to take advantage of them.
Yeah, it's all about finding that opportunity and like what combo can I pull off in this opportunity. And I think when you play in multiplayer, that will become super interesting, because now like when you and I play, we have different weapons, so our openings are completely different.
Yeah.
And then there's village and hub quests, so village progresses the story, and those are strictly solo. And then hub are the multiplayer. Well, you can play them solo.
Yeah. But you'd be like me.
Yeah, you can take 50 minutes to kill a monster.
I had fun. It was good fun.
But yeah, so like imagine we go on a hunt where you've got like the long sword and I've got like the light bowgun or something. I can place traps and do damage from afar and apply stuns. Which opens up more gaps for you. So I can see that being such a fun thing to kind of like experiment and synergize with.
But look, I've only played the opening hours, but it's good fun. Like I could really can see myself getting consumed by this game. And shit, like even the fact that last night I was already like, oh, just one more hunt. Like that's the power of Switch, because I just climbed into bed and I carried on playing.
It is the power of the Switch.
It is the power
what a
of
great
Switch.
console.
It's a good time.
Cool console. I was playing just handheld yesterday because I need to set up. I meant to capture footage last night, and then I couldn't find my capture card. So that's going to be my Saturday after this. Is like, after the move, like, where did I put my capture card? Because I haven't used it yet.
You're like, I can't find this. I'm going to go make myself a frozen pizza. Oh shit! How did this boxy get in here?
Yeah, it's just in my freezer. Oh
okay, cool, man.
Yeah, so I got to find that and set that up. So I was just playing handheld, and it feels great on handheld. I think it runs really well. It looks really nice.
Yeah,
as well,
I think there was something about the demo. Look, I could be wrong. I think it's been obviously optimized since then, but I think the demo is a bit like, this game seems a bit. There's something also, again, like can't put my finger on it, but it felt a bit off. Like I don't know. I can't tell you why. I just felt the visual. I was like, doesn't look 100%.
Something's wrong, yeah.
But I think on the actual release, I look at it and I'm like, damn, it runs really well and it looks great. Look, it's not like, don't expect The Last of Us 2 visuals, obviously. Like,
of course not.
I think the style's almost like Lenska said, it almost looks a bit cartoony. Like, it's not entirely a cartoon, but there's like a distinct, almost like anime-ish style to it, and it just runs really nicely.
There's so much nice color in it as well.
I think
it really pops.
A lot of saturation.
Like how long did you spend looking at those two cats that were just pounding that dough thing?
I was more distracted by the cats in the, is it the hub room, whatever it's called, where they're busy like hitting the gong, I think it is.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Can I just say, I love the idea that in this world, the dogs and cats are like these highly intelligent creatures who like aid you. I mean, I don't think you've done any hunts yet, but when you're on a hunt, your palico, or what are the dogs? Is it palamute?
Palamute. Yeah.
They I don't know if they both have comments, but I know on the right, like they comment on what's happening. They'll be like, "Oh, hey, like your prey's down," for example. Like now, or they tied out. It's time to attack, whatever. But the game has so many puns throughout, which is just 10 out of 10 for me.
All the palicos are like, hey, I can speak English, but I'm going to throw a meow in there every now and then just to keep you on your toes.
It's like, hey, you see that area over there? You can go hire some mercenaries. I'm like,
just like, God damn it.
I approve. Yeah, but look, we've both played. This game's long. We know
this
Monster
is
Hunter,
scratching the surface.
We've barely scratched the surface.
I think GameSpot gave it a 9 out of 10. Nice. And that's a review in progress, and they played for like 25 hours already.
Which is like nothing still.
And
like
even
25
then,
hours
still
is a
have
lot,
to get the end game,
But so we haven't even, I've looked at the blacksmith and gone, okay, there's a shit ton of like upgrade options here. I can do armor, this and that. I haven't actually experimented.
Holy crap, there's a lot to dig into.
I mean, so like just before we bounce off, but like the loop of Monster Hunter essentially is you go hunt a monster, you get their parts, you use those parts to build better armor and upgrade your weapons. You go hunt bigger monsters, you use their parts to, you get the picture, you get into that loop of just leveling up. And that's why it's so addictive, I guess, because you just, it's that RPG itch that just gets scratched of like you're just gradually seeing your damage numbers get higher and higher. You're facing harder threats. You're learning how to use traps and weapons and whatever. I mean, and it gets even deeper than that, where you have to consider like what elements is the monster weak to? What elements do they use so that I have armor that's strong against that? So there's a lot.
You actually feel like you're preparing for your target. You're not just like, well, I'm a hero and I will like brute force my way through this enemy. It's like no,
they actually make a pretty strong point of like everyone you talk to is often like, hey, always remember to prepare for a hunt because like that's half the battle.
Yes.
And like it's, I suppose we haven't really touched on that, but the way hunts work, you basically get dropped into like a specific hub, well, not a hub, or like a map, I guess. Like this big map that has a whole lot of different areas, and the monsters are roaming around, whatever. So you basically have to mount your palamute and ride to them. But on the way, you can find a whole lot of like flora or wildlife that gives you a health boost or gives you a stamina boost. And you should, by all means, like pick up that stuff on your way or actively seek it out before you fight the monster. I think where we are now, like obviously early stages, it's not such a big deal. But I think as you get into the more difficult battles, you have to really take some time to prepare. Even the stuff you eat, it's like, oh, that can give you different buffs.
Yeah, that's like a completely different way of playing. Yeah. I'm keen to like get stuck into it properly this weekend, because now that I've nothing else to kind of play that's on my plate, like I can actually dedicate time to it.
We'll play.
And playing it at launch is great, because like I played World a few months afterwards, and a lot of people had bounced off it from then. So I think playing with people who are like learning at the same pace as you is going to be fun.
The only thing I don't quite know is because you don't. Do you have a level? Like I think your companions have levels. I don't know if you get like a gear score or a weapon score, but like
I'm not sure.
Say you've played for 30 hours and then now some friend who's just got the game wants to play like how does it balance out? I don't know.
I think I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that the hunts are leveled. Okay. So like if you're going on this hunt, then
they should be
you should be this tier. Otherwise, this monster's just gonna like one hit you and that's it. So I think that's how they do it. It's like you don't have an intrinsic XP level. Your gear is your level, so to speak. Okay. You know, which is how a lot of these games, like Destiny, works exactly the same way.
Yeah, you get like a light score or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, you level up just as like almost like a basic tutorial, get your powers. And once you're there, then it's all about your gear. So
that's Monster Hunter Rise. I'm sure we are going to talk about that for many weeks to come as we dig deeper and deeper into it.
We will be publishing some videos on that very soon as well. And are you streaming it? Well, okay. Well, if you're listening to this on Monday, you would have streamed it.
Yeah, I might do a stream later. I'll see.
Cool. Well, if you're hearing this now and you haven't seen
go back and look at the VOD.
Go see the VOD. Go see the VOD. Yeah. Anything else you've been playing this week?
I've briefly played a bit more of Bravely Default 2, but not enough to really expand on what I spoke about last week. Okay. But I'm going to play that. I mean, I don't know why I do this myself, but I'm going to play that alongside Monster Hunter. But obviously,
good luck with that. Yeah.
I don't like your tone. Monster Hunter obviously is going to take priority, but I will be playing Bravely Default on the side. And
we're getting to the silly season of games soon as well.
I know. I need to also finish Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think I'm relatively close to. I'm definitely like in the final third of that game, I'd say.
Okay.
Where I'll find the time to commit an extra 3 to 5 hours, I don't know. We'll see.
I just know from the end of April onwards, madness.
What's coming? What's your first big game?
It's like Resident Evil 8 is in May. Returnals at the end of April. It's on the 30th.
Oh my God.
We've got Deathloop coming out as well. We've got Ratchet and Clank in June.
God. It's too much.
Big hitters.
In May, there's also there's the Final Fantasy VII Integrate.
Yeah, that's in June.
I think it's June. Yeah, it's coming soon.
That's in June.
My God.
So yeah, lots of big things coming out between like April and what would have been E3. And by the time we get to like June, we'll have a better idea of, I think, end of the year stuff as well. Yeah, very, very keen. I'm so keen to play Returnal.
Me too.
Every time I see a trailer for that game,
I'm like, holy shit.
I cannot wait for that game. It looks so good.
Who's the developer again?
Housemarque.
Do you know that I've never played one of their games? Not a single one. And I've heard such great things. I know.
Resogun, Matthew. Oh my God. That game is so good. Resogun is so good. Next Machina is so good as well. Like just amazing 2D twin stick shooters, like incredible.
Yeah, but Returnal's not a 2D
Returnal's
twin stick shooter.
You know what's interesting is like Returnal's like a third person shooter, but it looks like a bullet hell type of game. So I'm like, okay, like their DNA is still 100% in this. So, yeah, I'm stoked. They are very good at what they do.
So what you're telling me is I need to fly through Monster Hunter and all my other shit before.
Well, 30th of April is like still a month away. I think we'll get a lot of Monster Hunter in between now and then, because there's nothing. I don't think there's anything really big between now and then.
Yeah,
I do want to play Disco Elysium finally.
Oh my God! Oh, because that's got like it's getting a big update, or
it will have lots more voice acting and stuff. I already own it on Steam, so I'll get that patch. But that is like a 40-hour RPG. So
oh my God,
yeah.
Who knows? Who said that playing games for a semi-living is
I tell you,
not
some of the most stressed I've been is like when you've got to review a game and you know the game's long, because you can't speed up that process.
No.
Like if you're good at writing or good at programming, like you can speed it up to an extent. But when you're playing like an RPG, that thing is 60, 70 hours, irrespective of how good you are at the game. So,
but it's the same. So it's my new best friend / shot is how long to beat. So before I start a game, I'm like, let me just get a feel, because so how long to beat is basically it polls. People can say, this game took me 20 hours to beat, and it just gives you an average of everyone who submitted, how long it took them to beat.
And it breaks it down between like main path, completionist, and it's very cool.
And it's actually surprisingly accurate, I found.
It is.
So like Bravely Default, I know it's like, a quick playthrough is like 30, 40 hours.
God.
And it's like, I can speed up that process by like reading through the text fast. And even the cutscenes, like I can read the text obviously faster than they'll speak it. But it's still going to be like a 30 plus hour game, no matter how much I speed it up. So
you can't increase the speed of some of those things. So games are long. But games are good.
And we've just said Monster Hunter is about patience. You can't just rush in and like beat a monster. Okay, you've got to prepare. You've got to attack them strategically. But shall we bounce
to game releases?
Game releases.
So we are looking at game releases from today, March 27th, right up until April 2nd. Fuck, can you believe it?
My goodness.
March 27th.
We're already in April. Next thing you know, it's Christmas.
Yeah.
That's just how life works.
Okay, so wow, we've got a lot of Kingdom Hearts this week.
Really?
Doom 3 VR edition coming to PlayStation VR on March 29th, which would be really cool, except for the fact that I've packed away my PS4 and VR, and I never received that little dongle for PS5. So
oh no.
It's stuck in the post office somewhere because they chose to send that via post. So
nice.
I have no desire to set up a whole PS4 and VR to play that.
My goodness.
But
you'll just have to wait for PSVR 2 next year.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't wait actually.
Oh God.
Then we've got essentially like the entirety of Kingdom Hearts coming to PC on March 30th. So we've got, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. How can you have the words final and prologue in the same sentence?
It's Kingdom Hearts, man. It's just a naming convention.
Then we've got Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind. As in, not one word, it's space mind.
Did I tell you about the one time Lenska and I were busy scrolling TikTok one evening, and she saw this TikTok had like a 10-second snippet of gameplay from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And Lenska was like, obviously she had finished Immortals Phoenix Rising. She's looking for another game to play. She's like, oh my God, there's a game with Disney characters.
Oh no.
I must play this game. And I was like, it's Kingdom Hearts. She's like, no. I'm like, it's Kingdom Hearts. I don't think you understand. It's like, it's a lot like Final Fantasy. If I like, not really Final Fantasy, but you know what I mean. It's similar, same developer. It's got some similarities and overlap. And she's like, so you love Final Fantasy? I'm like, but it's Kingdom Hearts. I don't think you understand. And I showed her a trailer, and she's like, oh, I see what you mean.
It's you know, the impression I've got from people is that over the sequels, it's become less and less Final Fantasy and just more and more just a Disney game.
Yeah.
Which is interesting considering it started out as a very Final Fantasy game with just a little bit of Disney
stuff,
in there. You know?
Look,
so
it's I'm sad that it's a franchise that I really missed out on because I think it must be difficult to go back and play the originals now. I don't know how they hold up.
I don't think they've aged super
and
well.
And then to play Kingdom Hearts 3, which came out like a year or two ago, and not know what the hell's I don't think anyone actually knows what's going on in that story, but I just don't see myself even trying. Which is sad because I think I would enjoy that franchise. But yeah, that's coming to PC. So if you've been holding out,
there's still one more. Kingdom
God,
Hearts Melody of Memory. That's the last one.
Sorry, I only interjected because I thought we were done.
No. So that's like, I think that's the. Okay, listen, I don't know. I think that's all of the Kingdom Hearts you can play. All of the Kingdom Hearts that's on console that is now on.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird that they don't have them packaged as one.
Yeah.
Like there's no Grande package which has, well, look, I think, for example,
Kingdom Hearts Grande Prologue 2.3 5 point. You just take all the numbers and
just
add them
add
up,
all
like
of them.
7.3.
But I do think like 1.
Sounds like you're ordering Mexican or something. It's
My
like
God.
crazy.
I'll have the Kingdom Hearts Grande, hold the nachos.
Grande burrito, please. Yeah.
But I think like so let's say 1.5 plus 2.5 remix as an example. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think that includes like between those three, you'll find that it encapsulates the entire franchise, like to some degree, even the mobile game and like the DS game, I think.
I think that's what a lot of them did. Yeah. Like
they're
1.5 is
them,
like 1 and some DLC and 2 and some DLC. So
it's wild.
I don't know. I just know that every single Kingdom Hearts game, whether it's on mobile or whether it's like a gacha game or whether it's like this weird spin-off, it all contributes to the same story. And it's like the most infuriating thing for fans because it's like, oh, this is a spin-off, but it's going to have something very crucial to the story.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck's sake,
And even, look, I heard a very entertaining podcast, shit, must have been like 2 or 3 years ago now, on Kinda Funny. They had, I can't remember for the life of me who the guests were, but the whole theme of, I think it must have been before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, because it makes sense to have like a recap of the story. And the guests they had are like these big Kingdom Hearts fans. And they acknowledge that the story is like very convoluted.
It's nonsense. Yeah.
But they try to explain it. It is very entertaining because as they walk through it, they're like, and then this happens. And they're like, you can almost hear, because I was listening to audio, but you can almost see them roll their eyes like, and then this happened. And then like scrunching their face like, and then this means that happened. And it's
think this might have been a Kind of Funny podcast because it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was 100% a Kind of Funny podcast.
I remember listening to that episode as well, and it was like an hour and a half of just trying to break down. And wow, the amount of times it's like this person died, but then they inhabited this body, and then the things of evil did it is the most airy fairy weird bullshit. Like if you love it,
still
power to you, but holy fuck,
if you
when
want to
that
play,
thing's explained. Wow.
If you want to play Kingdom Hearts, it's coming to PC. Long and the short of it, you can play it on just about every modern platform, except Switch, weirdly enough. I don't think
any of them are on Switch, actually.
Which doesn't make sense. It would be a great Switch game. Everything's better on Switch.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I think so.
Okay, well, that's not all that's coming out. We have 2 more coming out.
3 more, because we have to go into April.
Oh, shit. My God.
Narita Boy, which I've seen trailers of here and there, especially this week, since it's coming up to release. It looks like okay, actually, let me just get it. It's being published by Devolver, and it looks really good. So Narita, let me read the actual
name rings a bell.
Here.
I haven't actually seen it with my own eyes.
Becomes symphonic in Narita Boy, a radical action adventure as a legendary pixel hero trapped as a mere echo within the digital kingdom. Sounds like Tron. Actually, the header image looks exactly like Tron. Discover the mysteries behind the Techno Sword, lock swords with the corrupt and tainted stallions, save the world. It's got a really cool art style. It almost looks like it's got like a CRT filter over it, so it's like warped on the edges of the screen.
Oh, yeah?
It's got this weird, like, I don't know, not a bokeh effect, but it like, I don't know. You got to see it. You got to see the images to understand.
Pulling up,
but then
I get you.
Yeah, it's really nice. I think it looks really cool. Made in Unity. Wow.
Damn, that looks pretty cool.
So yeah, it looks really cool. I'm assuming this is like an action combat game because I see some gifs of like some really cool sword fights and stuff. So looks really cool.
My God.
I'm down to play this.
That's so funny. So I try to switch scenes, but for some reason the scene's not picking up.
Oh.
So you guys can watch the trailer really small. Sorry. I try to make it big. Okay, but that's coming.
Looks cool. It's out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's out on Game Pass as well.
Okay.
That's cool.
I think it is on Game Pass.
Yeah. Disco Elysium, the final cut, like we alluded to earlier. So that is the game coming to consoles. Well, to PlayStation 4, 5, and Stadia for the first time. No Xbox yet. But it is also a free update on PC. And it's going to be adding some new content, voice acting. I know the developers of the game say this is the game they wanted to release at launch.
Okay.
So, yeah. That's cool.
Well,
I'm down to play it. It was Game of the Year for a lot of websites nearly 2 years ago. So it's a special thing. And then the last one on April 1st, Outriders, coming to
April
PC,
Fools.
PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and Stadia.
And
also
it's on Game Pass,
but only on console, not on PC.
I think it's interesting though, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Outriders almost looks like Square Enix's own, like, quote unquote Destiny. Like it's a live service game that you can play alone, but
it's not live service. They were like super adamant. They're like, no, this is not a Destiny. This is a co-op or solo game shooter. Stuff.
Okay, but
I think especially with Square Enix, they're like, shit. After Avengers, they're like, okay, we can't put out another live service game.
Don't use that word.
Please don't use that word, please.
But I think we've spoken about this at length over the last week or two, but it coming to Game Pass is really, really, really cool. Like, I think a big win for both Outriders and Xbox.
I agree.
It's just a cool thing. Like, Game Pass, man, is just good value.
I think a lot of people who weren't interested in it will now, pick it up. So.
But even you said like Naruto Boy is just an indie game that's also launching on March 30th on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Super cool. Cool.
So yeah, that's it. Should we go on to gaming news?
But first, I need to timestamp this.
Okay, I'll then grab the first one.
News. Okay.
Ghost of Tsushima is getting a live-action film.
A movie? My goodness.
This is part of Sony's big push into movies and series. We've got the Uncharted movie. We've got The Last of Us getting a series on HBO. And they've said they want to make, live-action adaptations of a lot of their properties. So this is just the next step of that.
I do not think anyone saw this coming.
No, yeah.
It was quite a surprise, I feel. Because we know that like The Last of Us 2 is getting its own series, but never in my mind that I think that Ghost of Tsushima, especially because it only came out last year. I never thought it's going to get a movie like straight up.
I think because it's been a big success. I think the game sold like 6.5 million copies now, which is pretty good massive, for a single player exclusive. A lot of people will be like, well, there's 80 million or more PS4s out there, so the attach rate isn't that big. But it's like for a single player game, that's pretty fucking good still.
Look, I don't know what God of War is on now, but God of War, correct me if I'm wrong, like off the top of my head, it's like on 8 to 10 million plus,
around about there. Yeah.
And that game's been out for a few years now. So Ghost of Tsushima is, look, I don't know how many more millions it's going to sell, but it's pretty damn strong. And I also think it's almost like it was Sony's underdog last year. Like, remember, Last of Us 2 came out, and I myself included, I was like, Ghost of Tsushima looks cool, but like it just looks like a open world samurai game, and it was really good. Like, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the at first it seemed like, oh, it's just a story about honor and whatever, but I think it goes into some really cool places and ends off incredibly strong. Like, what a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed playing that. So it's getting a full adaptation. It's just been announced, so this is still a while away. I'd say at the very least 3 years away. But what's cool is that its director is Chad Stahelski, who has directed all of the John Wick films. So that is very cool.
So don't be shocked if you see guns in Ghost of Tsushima. Go, whoa!
Jin Sakai just pulls out a fucking
Don't be
Glock.
shocked if Keanu Reeves is Jin Sakai.
Well, listen. We've seen samurais with guns. Have you played Sekiro?
Oh my god!
Yeah, exactly.
The dude had like a Glock or a pistol or something, but I'm talking machine guns here. Okay, don't be shocked if you see that appear in this movie.
Do you think they'll kill Jin Sakai's dog and then you'll go on a journey for revenge?
No, but they might. No, that's spoiler purpose. I'm going to get there. Yeah, but that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Next. What should we get to? I suppose we often do this, but let's just stick with Sony news. Let's do a hard 180. Maybe not, depending on, I don't know what camp you're in, but PS3, PS Vita, and PSP digital stores are reportedly being closed down this year. So I brought this up at work. I was like, it's kind of sad. It makes a case for why physical games are actually still kind of important. Because when the store's closed, you can no longer buy games for these devices. Unless you own them, you can download them. But I can't crack open my PSP and go, I really want to, I don't know, grab Siphon Filter, first game that comes to mind, whatever. But then to which some of my colleagues are like, but we don't play old games. Like it's not that big a deal. I was like, yeah, but maybe you don't care now, but in a decade or two, you might go, oh shit, like I have such an itch to play that game. I really enjoyed when I was a lot younger. So I don't know where you fall on this, but like, I don't know. In my head, I'm like, I completely understand why Sony are doing it because these consoles are old. I don't know how many people are actively using the stores, but it's sad in the sense like these games are technically disappearing outside of their physical editions that are out in the wild.
No, I think, this just brings up the whole video game preservation argument again, because it's really difficult for preservation of games that Sony, Sony will have the copies of these games, but if no one can access them, then like, what's the point?
Yeah.
This is the thing that is going to become super common because this is the other shoe dropping on the first, the PS3 and the Xbox 360 were the first consoles to really be part of that digital age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
they were the first generation. Well, they were the first consoles, to my knowledge, that actually had like proper storage space that you could install games on. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is that future becoming a reality where especially people who take pride in keeping their consoles and go back to older games just won't have an option for that. And Microsoft in a way sidesteps this by making their consoles backwards compatible.
Yeah.
They don't support every game, which still is a bit of a problem, but like you can play original Xbox games on a Series X today and you can literally pop in the disc and it will work.
Yeah.
Sony is basically saying you can play the games via PlayStation Now if you're in a region that's supported. But other than that, you've got PS4 and PS5 and that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Where do you play Metal Gear Solid 4 now?
Yeah.
It's
just interesting because, like you pointed out, Xbox have been very big on backward compatibility. And I think even going into next gen, it will still be a key feature of like, oh, here's the Xbox Series X2, whatever they decide to call it. Don't worry, your 360 games will still work on this thing. I could be wrong, obviously, but it's just interesting how, like, Jim Ryan, for example, has come out saying, like, why would anyone want to play this older game when newer game exists? When Xbox have been like, no, we want you to enjoy whatever you want to play. So I don't know. It's different philosophies. Sony's not technically wrong.
Yeah. I can understand why they're doing this because keeping servers up costs money.
It costs money, yeah.
But in my view, they need to find a way to at least give people the option because this prevents people from downloading games that they own.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, if I have a PS3 game, can I play it on my PS5 disk drive? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, no.
No. So it's interesting. Like, I don't know.
It's such a weird thing. I feel like a lot of this is also legacy problems with the PS3 cell architecture. Like whenever you hear about backwards compatibility, that is like the thing that is brought up. Like that thing was a fucking mess, and trying to emulate that.
Unless you had the first generation PS3, which actually lets you play PS1 and PS2 games.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I own a PS3 console literally just so I have something to play Metal Gear Solid 4 if I ever want to again.
You want to hear another shocking fact? I have not played Metal Gear Solid 4. I know.
That game is proper good. Like,
nice.
You like Metal Gear Solid 5? 4 is some highbrow anime bullshit with a great stealth game.
Oh, I need it.
It's fucking great. It's so good. But that is just a report right now. It hasn't been confirmed by Sony, but like I would not be shocked in the slightest if that turns out to be true.
Yeah. What shall we talk about next?
Microsoft is in potential talks to acquire Discord for $10 billion. Discord, this rumor progressed through the week where apparently Discord was hearing offers from multiple companies. Now the latest rumor is that Microsoft and Discord are in exclusive talks with each other, but that Discord could also just go public instead of selling. So, yeah, I mean, Discord is huge. Discord, in a way, was a response to Microsoft buying Skype and turning it to absolute shit. So,
God, I hate Skype so much.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But I mean, isn't it? Can we just acknowledge the fact that Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion, which is like 8 proper gaming studios, and then
IPs,
yeah, and now there are some discussions of buying Discord for more than all of that.
It's crazy, right?
Which is just insane. Yeah,
it's really crazy.
My biggest thing is that with crossplay becoming a thing, like it is a thing, which will only continue to grow, I imagine, in the years to come. The biggest gripe I have is voice communication. In-game chats historically are actual garbage. Like, I hate them. It would be really, really, really nice if Discord was an app that you could download on your Xbox or PlayStation that lets you interface with other people. Like, I'd love to play stuff with some of my PlayStation friends via PC, but I cannot because of how my setup is. I just haven't figured out how to stream to get like my audio and their audio in the same place. It's just like a nightmare. Make a Discord app for the consoles. Not that Microsoft buying Discord would do that, but come on, give me a Discord app.
I think the Xbox already supports Discord, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, you can link Discord. Yeah, I think Microsoft gave up on like, we are only using our exclusive, party chats. Let me just double check.
I think you might be able to link your account in Discord. I don't know if you can actually chat via Discord. I could be wrong though, because it says like in this header image, it says link your account, sync your friends, show what game you're playing. It doesn't say like hang out with your mates or whatever. I could be wrong though. Like, I don't actually know.
No, Discord so this is according to Tom's guide. Discord lets gamers communicate with voice and text, create parties and groups, and see what all of their friends are playing. Previously, I think you're right. Previously, the last part was limited to PC gamers. But with Xbox One integration, all Discord users can see what their Xbox touting friends are playing. So I think it's just people on Discord can see what you're playing. I don't think it's a communication device yet.
But if they figured out how to have an app on,
you see, specifically the lack of cross-platform voice chat is a massive omission in Microsoft's attempt to integrate the PC platform's biggest chat service into the Xbox ecosystem.
Look, I think that would be a huge one if Microsoft bought Discord and then just put that on Xbox.
Yeah. Especially since they're doing things like, hey, we have crossplay with Xbox games, PC, like Gears of War is crossplay. So why do we not have a cross-chat solution?
Yeah, because like the argument is, but there's in-game chat, but in-game chats is actual garbage.
I think it would be a big big benefit to Microsoft. Yeah. And if Microsoft is spending that much money, it's not going to be exclusive to Xbox. They're going to look at different ways to integrate that all over. So I just hope it doesn't go the same way as Skype, because that was a disaster. Let's see if it even happens. Discord might just go public, and that would be interesting as well.
You never know.
Buy stocks in Discord.
Buy them now. What should we talk about next? Maybe let's just quickly mention Back 4 Blood has been delayed by 4 months. I love how they're really sticking to the 4 as a theme here. Really leaning into that. So Back 4 Blood is the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead.
Mm-hmm. Developed by its developers.
Developed by the same developers. And I am very keen for a modern day Left 4 Dead.
Me too.
It's been delayed by 4 months, which isn't that much.
No, it's not too bad.
But that's cool. It's still coming, which I'm grateful for.
I think there's going to be an open beta around the time it would have launched in June.
Okay, that's
cool.
So
I think people get to give it a go at least then. But 4 months. It's out in October. I'm still really stoked for it. I think it looks great.
Yeah,
very
we still got to
excited
play
about
Left
it.
4 Dead 2 one day.
Yeah, no, we do.
My God. Okay, what's next?
New report regarding the Call of Duty game that obviously will be coming out this year. Says that
That's the wrong story.
it is going back to World War II. So Sledgehammer Games are developing this entry. Their last game was Call of Duty World War II. So, yeah. Previously, the reports were saying that it might be set in like an alternate history.
Reality, yeah.
Yeah, 1950s, like if World War II never ended type of thing. But since then, Eurogamer corroborated with their sources and said that part of the report is incorrect, but everything else is pretty much, on the nose. It's going to be a World War II game. Sledgehammer's developing it, and it will be revealed somewhat soon. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we've had we had Modern Warfare, and then we had Cold War, which might as well have been modern. So, yeah, I'm just curious to see what they do with Warzone.
What is
put Warzone in World War II or keep it modern?
And where is Battlefield 6? Aren't we supposed to get some sort of teaser or something?
That's being revealed soon. Yeah. And I think that's going back to modern times.
Which is cool. I think it's high time that Battlefield went back to the modern setting.
If you want a good joke here, Daniel. Is it Daniel Ahmad? Let me just make sure because I've got this wrong before. Yeah, Daniel Ahmad on Twitter, good video game industry analyst. He said the reports. What did he say? Yeah, the reports are all wrong. It's not actually. It's called Call of Duty World War because it's about the First World War. The 2 is just there to let you know how many terabytes of hard drive space you need to install it.
Oh my God. Yeah, but the storage space issues with Activision games like
they
Call
need
of
to
Duty
fix that shit. Oh my God. The fact that it's like you can only have Call of Duty and Warzone on your entire PS4 base edition is fucking ridiculous.
Like, I would love to dive back into Warzone. I know many friends of mine who play Warzone, but I refuse to give up that much hard drive space and update it all the time with these massive updates. I'm like, no,
it's crazy.
Thank you.
That's absolutely
I will
crazy.
not. You cannot make me.
Should we get to just fly through these next few?
Yeah. So Niantic, the people who made Pokemon Go, are making an AR Pikmin game, which I found
interesting.
Very, very interesting because hello Lupin. What the heck? Because I get it. Pikmin it's a great Nintendo franchise, but I played Pikmin 3, was it end of last year, early this year, and there are a handful of different Pikmin. Like you get, black ones, red ones, yellow ones, a whole bunch of them. And I don't know what this game will be, to be completely honest. Like, is it you collecting Pikmin? Is it you getting them to do stuff in the real world? Like, I don't quite know yet. But
I'm curious to see it,
Yeah.
Curious to see what this ends up being because Pikmin are cute and seeing them in AR would be kind of cute as well.
Pikmin 3 is a really, really great game. Like, I enjoyed the shit out of Pikmin 3.
I need to play that deluxe edition that we have because it's a lot of fun. But again, who has the time?
Who has the time?
That Steam Summer Game Festival that we had last year where it was like all the demos for basically like E3 on Steam, like demos for recent games and stuff. It's happening again this year. It's called Steam Next Fest, which is a real tongue twister there. And it kicks off in June. So yeah, that's coming again. So that's great.
Lots of new games. Oh yeah, there was we don't have it here, but there was an Xbox basically did an indie showcase. Were there any
for 3 hours? Who thought that was a good idea? It was 3 hours.
Holy hell, okay, I did not.
Who had Microsoft signed off on that? I would love to know.
Were there any notable titles from there? Because
there were quite a few. The big one was like this big list of 20 indie games that are coming to Xbox Game Pass at launch. And a lot of them are really good. There's like Sable and there's what was that? There was that new game from Drinkbox.
That looks real good.
Yeah,
What is it
what's it called?
Nobody's a god.
Nobody's a world. Nobody's a hero or something. Yeah, so we've got a good look at Ascent. I mean, there's a lot. Like, I would not recommend going through the fucking 3-hour stream because it took forever. Art of Rally, that's another one. But yeah, there's like a lot of cool indie games coming out and a lot of them coming to Game Pass. So
hey, Rust is coming to Xbox One.
Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling.
Song of Iron, extra one. Nobody saves the world.
That's the one. It looks so good.
That looks so good. Real good. Drinkbox are the people who did Guacamelee, and they didn't put it in their trailer, but they are the same people who did Severed, which I played on the Vita, and I really enjoyed that.
Very underrated.
I understand why it's underrated because it's a touchscreen game, 100%.
Yeah.
So I don't think as many people played it. But there's a bunch of stuff.
Lawn mowing simulator, hell yeah! It actually looks kind of fucking ridiculously cool.
Why is this a game?
I'm down. I'm down for it.
I need to watch this trailer.
Loot River looks really good. The Among Us airship. Death's Door also looks really good. That's from the developers of it's a big game, Titan Souls, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Second Extinction.
My God! Stalker 2.
Okay. Yeah. 12 minutes.
There's more of this.
So fucking keen. Like, cannot wait for this game.
I only remember the one trailer they showed at, was it E3 a while ago? Okay.
Fun fact, development on that is being helped by a South African studio.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
One that I used to work at.
Spoiler. Let you figure that one out. Oh, and here's a list of the 20 games coming to Game Pass. I mean, that's a lot. Like Stalker 2, for example, is
Stalker 2 is a big one, coming to Game Pass.
The only trailer I saw actually was Omno, and that looked real cool as well. That's coming to Game Pass. Okay,
so
it's a bunch.
But yeah, that stream did not need to be. Microsoft's marketing team needs to I don't know why, but Sony and Nintendo have found this way to hype up their events. When there's a PlayStation showcase or a Nintendo Direct, it is an event.
Yeah.
Why can Microsoft not get that pattern? They either do their shows far too short, or they do those Xbox Wire or shows where, there's a lot of downtime between trailers and stuff. This isn't an event.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Shooting themselves in the foot, man. Honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Last few bits of news. I did not know this was coming, but Rocket League is getting a mobile game.
It's like a side swiping. Well, it's actually called side swipe, but it's like a 2D version of Rocket League that you play from left to right. Yeah, looks
that
fun.
Actually looks really cool. Yeah,
looks like I could spend a bit of time on that. Yeah.
My goodness, still with the rocket jumping, amazing.
Yeah. Apparently, I don't know how true it is, but there were people on Twitter talking about how there was a quote unquote Rocket League clone that came out on mobile.
Oh yeah,
that looked exactly like this. So it seems like Rocket League copied the Rocket League clone, which is really funny.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna clone a game and then get cloned, you can't really fucking
what you
complain about that.
My goodness. Okay.
I think the last thing is Sega officially the most well-reviewed video game publisher of 2020, which might come as a surprise. People are like, oh, Sega still exists. But when you think about last year, Persona 5 Royale was published by Sega, big one. The other big one was 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, which made it on a lot of Game of the Year lists. So yeah, I can believe that. Sega does a lot of good things with its publishing efforts. Yeah. Even if their Sonic games are still terrible.
There's actually a top 10 of who's the highest rated publisher. So I'll just go from 10 to number 1, Devolver Digital, Nintendo, No More Robots. How do you even say this? Axis Games?
Yeah.
Microsoft, Xbox Game Studios, Activision Blizzard, Sony, Capcom, Annapurna Interactive, and Sega.
All the times people are like, man, Microsoft doesn't make exclusives, yet here they are as the 6th best publisher of the year.
6th best publisher.
Just behind Activision and Sony.
There, man. Will of the Wisp was a great game.
But look at that. Sega first, Capcom third.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is crazy.
A couple of years ago, you would never. I mean, and then Annapurna, who they don't miss, man. Annapurna just knows exactly what games to publish. They really do amazing things. So,
but Capcom specifically, I think that is like a complete 180. I mean, look, even Sega, it's like you'd never think Sega would be the number one scoring. Like even now, I'm like, why? What? I mean, it's 38 products, 95% of which earned good reviews and an average Metacritic score of 81.6, which is really high.
it's just wild that like you had Sony in a year where they put out Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Last of Us 2, and Ghost of Tsushima, and they still critically couldn't beat Capcom or like Sega. You know what I mean? So I didn't actually realize last year was Persona 5 Royale, Yakuza 0 on Xbox, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, and then Yakuza Like a Dragon on Xbox. So like, they fucking hit it out the park last year.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So that is news, I guess.
Should we move on to questions? If you want to send us a question into the show, you can email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on all of our social channels, at Checkpoint Chat on Twitter, on Facebook. It is, unfortunately, Checkpoint Chat Podcast on TikTok. But you can find us there.
With literally one TikTok.
You know what? It's not the quantity, it's the quality.
It's all about the meme, okay, that we have a TikTok. It's there. So we had two emails sent from Lesh earlier this week. Who says, question one, Sterling joke. Microsoft and Bethesda may have consummated the marriage, but it looks like it is Sony and Nintendo that'll get fucked by this. Now, I'll let you mull that one over.
Get out.
What are your dream unannounced projects from the Microsoft Studios umbrella? Bethesda devs doing Microsoft properties, ID Tech on Microsoft games. For me, I would love to see Obsidian Fallout. Doesn't have to be New Vegas 2, but another one from them. I'd also like Rare's early 360 projects to see sequels, Cameo and Viva Pinata.
Well, I mean, they could have done that without buying Bethesda, I guess. Those are Microsoft properties. I would love a Viva Pinata sequel. Give that to me. Like, especially with, Animal Crossing doing so well, Microsoft could really repurpose Viva Pinata into an Animal Crossing thing. And I think it would hit really well.
Yeah.
A Fallout from Obsidian would be dope. I'd be fucking there because New Vegas is amazing.
They did New Vegas, right?
Yeah, they did New Vegas. New Vegas is really good. So yeah, I'd be stoked to see that happen. I think Militia's right. Id Tech in Microsoft games, like that engine is just incredible. So you look at Doom Eternal and how well it runs across all platforms at really high resolutions and frame rates. So I get that shit into Microsoft games where it's
needed. Give it
needed.
to Halo.
Yeah. It's like how Halo.
I don't know if this would ever happen, but like it would be really cool to see Doom Guy and Master Chief in the same game.
That is a matter of time. That has to happen. I'm sure in some weird like cross property game like that will happen.
I don't know what it would be, but it's
there's
some game there somewhere. Like, I don't know. Both wear green armor. Both fight, greenish armor. It depends on the shades, I guess. Both fight aliens/demons.
You know what's interesting is that the aliens in Halo called Master Chief Demon. So I wonder if they call him Demon and then like the Doomslayer just comes out, he's like, I got your back. And it's just them two going up against each other.
Or they call him the Demon and Doomguy appears says, I must end you.
Exactly. Oh my God.
It's the Godzilla vs. Kong movie for Microsoft.
It's Freddy vs. Jason of the Microsoft universe.
God. Can you imagine?
I'd love it. The thing that I'm most excited about is Arcane getting to continue making their games because, Dishonored was put on the back burner because even though it was critically acclaimed, it didn't sell well. Prey for the same reason. And I just feel like Arcane make really, really good games that just don't sell as well as they could. So maybe with Microsoft's marketing and more push, they can continue making experimental games that are just really fun to play that hopefully reach wider audiences now, especially if they come to Game Pass.
The one gray area, and I'd love to see how Xbox handle it, is that Deathloop is coming in May to PlayStation 5. So, like, will I log onto Twitter and see Xbox saying, like, hey, don't forget to play Deathloop?
Nope. You will definitely not.
Why not? It's owned by them. It's still going to make them money.
I think eventually it will be sort of like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe this happens sooner rather than later. But remember when Obsidian was making Outer Worlds, that RPG, and that was published by Private Division, who are owned by 2K. And then Microsoft bought Obsidian, and they couldn't stop the game from coming to PlayStation. But what they did was put it on Game Pass on day one. Now, my understanding is Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo are exclusive to PC and PS5 when they come out.
Yeah.
But I would put money on by the end of the year, both of those being on Xbox and on Game Pass.
You reckon by the end of the year already?
Yeah. I reckon if Microsoft couldn't find a way to prevent it being an exclusive at launch, they might have found a way to shorten the exclusivity on it.
Look, yeah, and I do agree with you. I see that being a day one Game Pass thing. I mean, like,
oh yeah, when it
most
it will
of the
come to
Bethesda
Xbox.
titles are,
yeah, it will. Like, it was always announced as a timed exclusive, so it definitely was coming, but it will be on Game Pass, like, straight up.
You could play Deathloop on PS5 for 1 week, and then it's coming to Xbox.
Oh God.
Next question from Alesh. He says, how hard is it for you to return to games you've left for long? Like if you had sunk 40 hours into Breath of the Wild, but that was a year ago, would you just restart and try not to fall off this time? Or would you spend a few sessions feeling lost because that's preferable to starting again? I no longer have the time to restart, so trying to get back into those just feels daunting. So I procrastinate.
It really depends on the game.
Yeah. I have
like a Breath of the Wild, you can stay away from that for a long time and just you can pick it up and like spend an hour re-familiarizing yourself with what was going on, and I think you'd be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've said many times, I played Persona 5 over 2 years. Like I took extended breaks from that game, and granted that is a tough game to do, to do that with, because usually when you play, you're like, okay, I'm going to work on increasing the stats, and when you forget about it, like you've wasted a lot of time doing that. So, but like you can. I think the ones that are tough to return to are ones that require muscle memory. Like I played Sekiro recently, and I had to restart it. There's no way I'm diving back in like a third of the way into that game and trying to pick it up from there.
My God. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It really depends on the game. Like my recent example is I played Xenoblade Chronicles. That's what it's called. I started that last year. I played like 20 hours, 25 hours. Then I got busy with other stuff, and I came back. Look, not like a year later, but I came back a few months later, and I just picked it up and I carried on playing, because while there's depth to that game, the combat's not like muscle memory or anything. So there's really more thing of me going like, what is happening in the story? Like I know more or less, and just carrying on and then finally finishing it. But I completely understand. There are games that I've revisited in the past. So I think the one that comes to mind first is Final Fantasy 13. Like that was the first PS3 Final Fantasy. I hyped myself up for that game way too much. Got it on launch, played it like 20 hours. I got to the open world bit. I was like I'm not enjoying this game. And then I came back like 4 years later or 5 years later, and I was like, I do not for the life of me remember what the hell's going on in this game. I do not remember how to play it. So I restarted it, and then I played it for like 30, 35 hours. I think I got really close to the end actually, and I fell off. And it's difficult because I'm like, I really want to finish it. I'm so close to the end. Like,
but you can't restart it now. Like,
but I can't see myself restarting it. So I guess I'm in the same boat of like, I procrastinate. I'm like, I need to do it one day, but when will I do it? I don't know.
When will I get to it? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it depends on the game, I guess. But I don't see any harm in revisiting a game if, it makes sense to revisit a game and not have to restart it. Because I'm in the same boat. Like, I very seldom replay games, and I like to spend my time playing new games. So restarting a game means time taken away from, playing something else, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, we have some stuff on Instagram. So first question, not really a question, more than a comment. It's more of a comment, is from Bester Bash, who says, Hades update, 16 runs cleared, the fist on my current best weapon at 7 heats. Now, this is an impressive feat. Because
7 heat. Holy shit.
I know that Bester finished his first run like a week, just a little over a week ago, if memory serves, which means he has since gone on to finish it 16 more times. So he's
crazy.
He's proper hooked on this game.
Yeah,
Hades,
my goodness.
A real good time. I did another 2 runs this week late on one of my streams, and that's one of those games I'm like, I really wish I had nothing else to play so I could just sink my teeth into just playing more, like upping those heats. And I still have not finished the story. Like is it Fates of Prophecy, that like list of things you have to do while you play the game? I still have one that's like resolve the story basically. I'm like, what do I have to do to trigger that? Like I'm still getting new dialogue, unlocking little bits and pieces. And I've done like more than 50 runs. So I'm like, what do you want from me, game?
Yeah.
We have a bunch of Formula One questions from Chilo ZA. So, but they're quick fire, can fly through.
Yeah, they're quick. You know, we don't have to spend a lot of time on people who are bad at racing games.
Oh my God, just like that. It's Formula One season and Sandy is excited. But will Matthew watch a Formula One race this season? I'm going to come out and say probably not. Who will be the top 3 this weekend?
That's a negative.
Negative. Who will be the top 3 this weekend? You tell us. You're the Formula One expert here.
I'm going to say Max Verstappen, then Hamilton, then Checo Perez.
Checo Perez?
Yeah, he's Verstappen's new partner at Red Bull.
Oh, is it Red Bull? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who will be the top 5 at the end of the season?
Fuck.
Yeah, you got to get your predictions in now. You know,
Hamilton will win this season, unless something disastrous happens with Mercedes.
Did he win last season as well?
Yeah, he did. I think this season will be, I'm hoping, a lot closer, but I don't see Hamilton losing. I think second will be Max. Third will be Bottas. Fourth will be Perez. Fifth will be who will be fifth?
It's tough.
Daniel Ricciardo at McLaren.
Nice. I don't know half of those people.
That's my guess. It's like such a safe guess, but I think that's what it will be.
Who will be the third best constructor after Mercedes and Red Bull?
McLaren.
Okay.
Yeah. They're looking so fire. My God.
I watched Formula One like years ago. Where does Ferrari stack up these days? Are they just
Ferrari had like one of the worst seasons ever last season. And this season, well, we have to wait for the first race to see if they've made big improvements, but they were fucking nowhere last season. So yeah, we'll see. There is a Schumacher on the grid now. Michael Schumacher's son is racing for Haas. So that's nice to see.
Because when I was a kid, Ferrari and McLaren were like the top 2.
Yeah.
You know, back and forth.
It was Michael Schumacher fighting Mika Hakkinen at McLaren. Yeah. We are far away from those days now.
Who do you think will get a shock win this season, like Gasly did last season?
Yuki Tsunoda, the new Japanese driver for AlphaTauri. I hope he gets a win because man, that dude I like him so much. He's so cool.
Nice. Besides Verstappen and Hamilton, who else can be world champion? Why is it not Bottas?
I don't know, man. I like Bottas and I think he's in a great car. I just think he doesn't have the mentality. He doesn't have that. A lot of the commentators or a lot of the people on Drive to Survive on Netflix said, you need that fuck you attitude to be a world champion. You need to be able to ruffle feathers and to go against what others expect of you, especially when it comes to your team. And Bottas is not that driver. So he'll never be a champion.
Who's the driver that I think they won a race or something last year? Like, I'm going to now go back to my hotel room and play a game. or something.
Oh, that was probably Lando Norris.
Lando, that's
third,
it.
and they were like, "How are you going to celebrate?" He's like,
I'm
"Probably going to go back to my hotel, play some Warzone."
That's it. Like, where does he stack up in Formula One? Is he?
He's really good. He's with McLaren,
Okay.
and he does a really solid job. As expected of what the car is. He's really fun though, because him and Max Verstappen often stream together. They play Warzone.
Yeah,
a lot
that's
together.
what I'm saying. Like, I only know of those two because they've like dabbled. Well, they in the gaming world.
No, they proper fun. They've got a re're bromance going. They're really fun guys. So, yeah.
Okay, and we have a comment from Zeno Iron Wolf, who just says Earth.
Ooh.
In all caps. Cool.
To that I say fire.
Wow. Does fire count to Earth?
No, water counts as fire. Oh no, wait. What counts as Earth?
Yeah, exactly.
Wind?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of Pokemon now. Is it wind? Flying? Was it electricity?
I literally have no idea. No, it can't be electricity because when you don't want to get shocked, you earth yourself. You can't.
I'm Googling.
We need to respond to this challenge of Earth.
Oh, God. The counter Earth is a hypothetical body of the solar system. Fuck. No, that's not what I want.
Damn it, Google. We're talking Pokemon here.
Pokemon.
My goodness.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so Earth in Pokemon is ground type.
Yes.
And it's weak against flying. Okay, I was right. Bug. Okay, no, wait. Shit. Is Earth grass?
No, okay, let's say Earth is ground.
Well, let's see if there's a common weakness to ground and grass. Let's see. Grass. Flying. Flying and bug both kill ground and grass.
Okay, well, we say flying and bug to you,
Man,
animal.
Grass fucking sucks, man. It's weak against flying, poison,
everything.
Bug, fire, and ice. No wonder Bulbasaur's just so shit. Jesus.
Bulbasaur fans are going to now burn our HQ down.
How is grass resistant to ground? How does that make sense?
Because it grows out of the ground.
How is it resistant to water?
Ground is grass's bitch.
Grass
it's resistant to water. What do you water your plants with? You see, Pokemon's logical. Okay. Your water doesn't poison grass. Okay. My God, we're getting too deep in this.
All I'm seeing here is that the best types are like normal, because normal's only weak to fighting. And fairy's only weak to poison and steel. So that's
goodness.
Cool. Electric is only weak to ground. No wonder Pikachu just like fucking wiping the floor with it.
2 last questions from Megs, who says, would you rather have a watermelon or a mango right now?
Ooh, watermelon. I love watermelon.
Mango.
I love both of those fruits.
Mango, undoubtedly mango. I am not a big fan of watermelon. You'll be shocked
really?
to know.
That's interesting.
If I wanted to, because why do I want to eat water when I can just drink a glass of water?
Why do you drink? Okay, hold on. It is super not. It's so much sweeter than just normal water.
It's just sugar water that I have to chew.
Just so betrayed right now. Like, I don't even know what to say to that.
Oh my God. Don't even tell me, you're going to have watermelon over mango?
No, okay. It
depends
on the day. I love both, but man, watermelon fucking hits. It hits well. When it's hot and you want something refreshing and it's delicious.
You chew into watermelon, you have a little bite of watermelon, and you spend the next 30 minutes spitting out the pips from that little piece.
Oh no, you fucking eat the pips, man. Just swallow those bad boys. Just swallow those bad boys.
If I swallow them, I'll grow watermelon in my tummy. I don't want that.
Oh my God. Watermelon's also less calories, so there.
Bam.
Boom.
Got me.
Also, watermelon makes you want to pee because you just like, that's like 90% water. Yeah.
You're not making a case for watermelon. You should eat watermelon because it will make you pee.
Apparently, watermelon and feta go really well.
Why don't you just tell me to eat asparagus then? Huh?
Asparagus is delicious. How dare you?
Yeah, now I know you like it because it makes you pee.
Oh,
apparently this is a pro for you on fruit.
It's like eating beetroot makes your pee red. Really fun.
My God, I can't even look at you now. Will Matthew's bro ever play Yakuza 0 for context of what happened in Yakuza Kiwami?
That's a good question. Yeah.
I don't know because my poor brother's currently stuck in a giant backlog like the rest of us. He's busy making his way through the OG PS4 Spider-Man. I know he's got Shadow of the Tomb Raider that she still wants to play, and he also has Final Fantasy VII Remake. So TBC, I guess. I suppose if I don't see my brother actively buying Yakuza 0, but if it is free on PS Plus, he might get to it. So
Fun.
That's it. I think that is all the questions. I don't think we got any on Facebook.
If you want to send us questions, you can email us just like everyone else did, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on all of our social platforms at Checkpoint Chat on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, Checkpoint Chat Podcast on TikTok. Maybe one day we'll get that handle back. Who knows? But yeah. That's means, it. This has been episode 138 of the Checkpoint Chat podcast. It also is in 2 hours. Can you believe? This is what happens when we don't have time during the week to play 5 games.
I was just going to say, we spoke about you barely spoke about Loop Hero, and we spoke about
mostly
Monster Hunter for
a lot of Monster Hunter.
20 minutes, yeah.
I'm super keen to play that. Also, I'm just keen to play it with a Pro controller because
I want a Pro controller now because I have no issues with the Joy-Con, but I have a Take-A-Lot voucher from my sister, which I got for Christmas, and I thought, you know what? I had nothing to buy with it, like nothing top of mind. And then yesterday I was like, actually, I could do with the Pro controller.
You could.
Take-A-Lot does not. Take-A-Lot has the Pro controller. They do not have the Monster Hunter Pro controller. I was like,
lame. That's super lame.
Yeah. So I'll keep an eye. Maybe they'll get it.
There is a Pro controller, quote unquote, Elite coming out. It's licensed by Nintendo, but it's not made by them. It comes from a company called Power A. And it's like, like the Elite Xbox controller? It's like a Pro controller with pedals at the back.
Oh, those not out yet because I've seen that Take-A-Lot has Power A controllers. But
no. So there is a wired one already out. But this is going to be a wireless
one. Oh,
yeah,
who does wired?
$99.
$99.
Yeah, okay. $99. Yeah.
That's it.
There are so many fucking custom Switch controllers, but so many of them are wired. Wow. There's even an Apex Legends one. My goodness. But
that's the podcast.
That's the podcast.
If you're watching on YouTube, please do not be shy to drop a comment. Give us a like if you want to. If you're on a podcast platform, please do not be shy to leave us a review or any kind of interaction that your platform allows. It just makes us feel good in our little souls, and it helps us reach more people, which is always nice.
Makes my tummy feel good.
Yeah,
just like
I'll
watermelon.
see you. We're gonna what do you have planned for this weekend?
Monster Hunter. It's also Passover today, so going to Shani's parents for Passover.
Nice. So you can take Monster Hunter with you.
Good soup.
Alessandro, what are you doing with your Switch at the table? Hey, I'm just hunting a monster here, okay?
Moses would want me to play Monster Hunter right now.
Moses hated monsters, okay? He hunted them too. The Bible just doesn't say that.
Good. We are going to fucking hell.
No.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week.
Goodbye.